Okay. So welcome, beauties. Another surprise bonus here for you. This is the darling and lovely and amazing Meg Haines. She is a spiritual mentor and healer. We've done some great work together, and I'm thrilled to introduce you to her. So Meg, just talk a little bit about what you do, how you support women in the world.
Thank you so much, and I'm so honored to be here. So I work one-on-one with clients and in groups. My work is actually shifting as a result of you, which we'll talk about. But I really help women to come home to themselves, to trust their intuition, to really honor their voice, their vision for their life, and to live that fully, and to really clear any blocks, any beliefs, any old wounds that are really getting in the way of them living out their full purpose.
So beautiful. Yeah, so it's amazing because you had a really big shift, and we will get to that because it was, our work together was actually a very defining moment for me of the power of this work. Before it was like, okay, yeah, this is good, but we had one of those like earth-shattering, jerking moments of like, what?
100%.
So we'll get there through this conversation, but I just want to know like what you thought about fashion before we started working together, and like what clothes meant to you, and just kind of how you felt in clothes.
Yeah, I really admired people who could put outfits together. I did not feel like I was one of them. I would walk into a store and see what the mannequin was wearing, and if I liked it, I would try it on. But I also I was looking at clothes in terms of what I wanted to wear and not necessarily what my body felt amazing in. So I would put on these outfits, and then I would feel awful about myself because I'm trying to fit into just a style that doesn't work with my body type. And so it was this constant, getting excited about a potential outfit or something that I'd see in the store, and then I'd put it on and feel awful because it did not look good on me at all. And over the course of my life, I used to dance competitively when I was younger and in my early 20s. And as I moved away from that, my body obviously changed. So I was still in the mindset of wanting to wear something that was not my body anymore, that didn't honor where my body was. And so there was almost like an abuse that was going on of me trying to either wear something super small and tight of what I used to wear and it not looking good. And so then going to the extreme of just wearing something that was really bulky and I didn't feel attractive in, and
like too much material.
Too much material just so that I didn't feel exposed. Yeah.
Too. Yeah, because you were like, I'm stuck in this mold and it doesn't. And even it seemed like you had an idea and a vision that was it was a beautiful vision. Oh, I thought my dress fell down over there. Sorry. It was a beautiful vision, and it wasn't aligned with where you were or where you are now. And it created this discord, which became abusive for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So tell me, what did you think of your own style though? Like, what did you say to yourself about your style at that time? Outside of not fitting into the clothes, or wearing clothes too big, what were you saying to yourself about style?
That I didn't have any, honestly. I had maybe a couple.
Not pieces. True, because you have one of the most beautiful style boards I've ever seen. So.
And that was the thing, was I had that vision, but if you looked into my closet, it did not represent that at all. And that was a really powerful thing for me to witness, was what I envisioned for myself. And I think I didn't realize that I did have style. I just wasn't utilizing it or wearing it, embodying it in my clothes. And so I didn't feel confident at all in my ability to pick out outfits. I didn't feel that I really knew how to put things together. I just chalked it up to, I'm not good at that. That's not my thing.
Yeah. Which is so not true.
Yeah. Thank you.
So not true. So then what happened in our work? Like, how did you, let's see, like specifically, like what happened emotionally for you that you became aware of?
Yeah, so much. I think a huge piece was how I was hiding and holding back, particularly around my journey. And I had the start of me going on the spiritual journey happened with my father becoming really ill, diagnosed with leukemia. I think I was in the 4th grade when it happened. And he had a 1 in 100 million chance of finding a bone marrow donor, which he did. He's alive and well, but it was a lot of emotion. And then my childhood babysitter had cancer and she passed away. My grandparents who were living with us at the time both had cancer. My cousin had an eating disorder. So it was literally everyone around me was going through chaos, and I was just in the midst of it trying to hold it all together and having my own.
As a child.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And going through puberty and, you know, that's hard enough. And then not having your friends really understand what you're going through and not having the verbiage or ability to communicate that. And it wasn't being communicated. We weren't talking about it. We were just putting a smile on our face and pretending everything was okay. And yeah, exactly. And, you know, I broke down from that as a result. And that's what got me on my spiritual path. But I think because A, that was so long ago, and B, I didn't, and you and I talked about this, and that was that really freeing moment, was because my dad is alive and my grandparents, you know, lived on for many more years. And I found all these gifts from the spiritual path that were so amazing. I didn't feel that my story was worthy of being told. I didn't feel like it was tragic enough or, you know, meaningful enough. I just thought it was whatever. It's just what got me on my path. And, you know, I remember the gift that you gave me in our conversation, which totally broke me open, was every day you were dealing with the threat of death. And there's so much there that needs to be acknowledged. And, you know, I've done so much work around that, but that was that moment of, holy crap, I need to validate my experience and I need to share that experience because it's so powerful. And just you giving me the permission to do that broke me open in a whole huge way.
Yeah. So how did it break you open?
I think it just gave me acknowledgement of, because it's like there were all these pieces still that weren't 100% put together. And, you know, one of the things I talked to you about is I had never been abused, but I felt that survival feeling, and you kind of paired it together and said it's a very similar experience. And that just gave me, like, all the pieces that weren't put together for me, that they were still coming up, but I didn't know what to do with them. So I just kind of put them away.
Right. Like you felt like broken and you didn't know how to fit them into the puzzle. And you're like, well, then it's not really relevant.
Right. And I couldn't really bring healing to it. And so there was always this part of me that felt like it wasn't healed fully. And I was like, maybe it's past life stuff. I don't know. I can go look at that. But I just kind of was like, I want to move on. I want to focus on the future. But there was this part of me that did feel disconnected and not whole.
Yeah. And so as we revealed to you like more of your story and like how that built this sort of barrier from who you know you can be, like, because there's definitely like a future self thing, and then there's like where you are.
Yeah.
And we're trying to, our goal was really to bring those together and not say like, okay, now go create an image of who you want to be, because that feels so inauthentic. But it was like, well, how do we create the doorway for you to get to here? And it's like, I'm right here and I want to go over here.
Yeah.
And I know that that's me, and I know that that's not like me reaching for like the stars and being fantastical about my life, and like it's actually very real and attainable. And so as you did that, like what happened in, you know, after the work, and you sent me a lot of follow-up emails just explaining like this is what's going on. So can you explain a little bit about the doors that started to open for you, and then do that, and then I'll ask another question, because I like to ask 3-part questions and then I'm like, so answer one.
Yeah, no, I think some of the things that were revealed to me were things that I already knew, but it was that validation and that permission of, you know, one thing that's really important for me is to feel grounded, is to feel centered. And a huge part of that is because of what was going on and my experience at that time. You know, I did not feel grounded. I did not feel centered. And so that was a huge part as far as my style goes, to feel grounded and connected in my body, but also in the work that I'm building.
Right. And that was very much like the earthly feeling, like
yes,
earthly, and
yeah,
you needed that connection.
Yeah. And so that was the cool thing that we came up with, was earthly goddess as my style. And that for me resonated so much, because it was so important for me in my work and in my life to feel grounded in what I do, to be able to connect with people and engage with them, and for my heart to meet their heart, but to also have this spiritual connection and to be open to that and really anchored in that as well. And so the style component mixed with just the emotional component, all of it, really helped me to, first of all, figure out where I was in my business and what was going on there. And I was actually in a huge transition when we started working together, because I realized, as much as I loved one-to-one work, it wasn't sustainable in the way that I wanted to grow, in the impact that I wanted to make. But also I was feeling, I wasn't feeling like I felt like what I was teaching was someone else's material through my words.
Wrote on other people's knowledge almost. It hadn't been, we call it embodied. And so like, you know, my styling process is an embodied process. Like I created it through my own intuitive being, and then teach it. So you were in that same position of like, well, I'm not really sure like how I get that knowledge out.
Right. And that was a huge part of it too, was the thing that kept coming up was me not feeling worthy of the knowledge that I have, and validated. Yeah. And so in just getting grounded in myself, what started to happen was all these little downloads that I had been receiving through my transition and, you know, through just surrendering to what was coming through for me. It all started to piece together in this beautiful program that I've now created called the Divine Feminine Mastery. And that is really about coming home to yourself.
So amazing.
Which is what our work was.
Yeah, it's so amazing. And you do it in such a different like format and manner and expression than you did before.
Yes.
Ease and grace.
That was a huge part of it. Yeah. Ease and grace are two of the
way of being. And so you're able to step into that.
Yeah. Because I realized also what I was creating was requiring so much of me that it was taking me out of my power and out of my center and out of my joy, really. And if you're not loving what you're doing, you know, you're not going to make the impact that you want to make. So this really helped me to ground and get centered in myself and in the work that I want to do. And all those downloads that have been coming in finally pieced together for me of, oh, this is a program that I want to create. I want to bring community together and to do it in a way that worked for me and worked for the life that I want to create for myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So beautiful. So beautiful.
Yeah.
As a result, like, what are you wearing now?
So actually, you'll be very proud of me. I'm layering.
Yay. Love it.
Since I'm on the East Coast right now, I've got my East Coast stripes on.
Nice. Very cool. And you have a little bit of flow there, I can see.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also that dancer style for me. It's really important.
Yeah. It's almost like 80s music.
Yeah.
goddess.
Yes. Yeah. Which we said there was a little like 80s hip hop dancer in there. Yeah. Pop star in there.
Yeah. Well, you got to keep it real, right? Because that's like, that's part of your story, right? That's part of the elements of who you are in your past.
Yeah.
And we're merging, we're bringing that all together.
Yes.
So that it is a real representation of you. You know,
yeah.
That's why I wear like outfits that look like I'm riding horses, because that is part of my whole entire existence from 4 to 18. Like,
yeah.
what I did, and that's where I have this level of comfort and power. So I use outfits like it to make me feel like I'm back in that position in life.
Yeah, no, I love that. And that's just been, I mean, now going shopping, it's a completely different experience. It's not abusive. It's not abusive. It's actually fun, and it's creative, and it's something that, you know, where I used to go just wherever I could find clothes. Now it's about the quality of clothes. Now it's about really looking at what I'm bringing into my closet and bringing into my life and wearing on my body, that it should be elegant. It should be beautiful. It should make me feel amazing rather than this'll do.
Yeah, totally. I love it. It's such a beautiful story. I love it. And I'm so honored that you took the time out to meet with me and be able to share your story with everyone and create your soul style.
Thank you.
I know they're going to love it. And where can people reach you if they'd like to check out your work?
Yeah, absolutely. So the easiest way is www.meghaines.com. I'm on Instagram, meg.m.haines. I'm on Facebook. So just holler, reach out. And, you know, Carrie, you have literally transformed so much more than my style. Although I thank you and my husband thanks you. Thanks you. But you know, you really opened me up to the work that I want to do. And so this process is so much more than just what we're wearing. It's who we're becoming and who we're meant to become.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah. Thank you for honoring that. I love it. Yeah. I'm so thrilled you were here.
Me too.
Big love to everyone. We will see you in a couple of days. Mwah!
Bye.
Bye.